Greetings everybody, it's Emily from ofpagesandink, and if you have watched my previous video, you know that I accidentally hit the button cancel instead of the button save and had to do that video all over again. Guess what happened again? Today is not my day. So I will have to pick a new topic out of my jar because nobody knows what the topic was for last time, and pulling out of the jar of pulling stuff out of the favorite Friday jar is half the fun. So we're doing this again. And if you don't know what the Friday jar is, I have a bunch of topics in this jar, and I pull one out every Friday and pretty much do a rambling video on anything that I could possibly think of that pertains to that topic. And I dropped the one I was going to pull, so I guess I'll pull this one. And ironically, this is the one that I drew last time and threw away and then hit cancel instead of save, and yeah, so I guess I was meant to talk about this today. It wasn't even folded in any special way. It was folded in half and then again, which is what all of these are folded as. And I shook the jar. So, I was meant to talk about this today. Although I probably shouldn't throw it away in case I hit the button again. Magic powers. So when I was doing this video before, I realized I had left out kind of a genre of magic power. So I'm going to do what I did before and then also add that in. Okay, so if you were to ask me what kind of magic power that I would want, I would have one answer, without a doubt: telekinesis. It's such a good and useful power. I mean, the only way telekinesis can be used for evil is if you throw things at people or throw people off buildings. That's it. You know, you can't melt their mind or control them to do something that would terrorize them. You can't fry somebody or electrocute them unless you, like, throw them into power lines or into a fire. And it's the perfect power for a lazy person, by the way. Drink water, it's important. This is your reminder. Yeah, for example, water. You have a cup of water, maybe you're on your bed or on the couch and you realize it's so far away. So instead of getting up, you can just be like, come here. Which also stems from, you know, the spell Accio from Harry Potter, or Accio. It's A-C-C-I-O, Accio. It's one of the only ones I can remember. There's actually quite a few. Alohomora is another one. But anyway, I digress. Also, bed is pretty high. It is not normal size bed. I want to say it's about 3 feet off the ground, but I am terrible at mental measurements. But I'm going to assume it's about the height of a yardstick, which is 3 feet. So, 3 foot high bed. I set my phone while it's charging on my bed next to me in case I get a text or a message from Tumblr, which doesn't happen as often, or maybe I want to play, I don't know, one of my games and it's next to me, and when my lives refill I want to play it. Because my bed is so high and squishy, when I get on it my weight pulls down my bed and my phone falls. Now, if I had telekinesis, instead of having to finagle myself to reach down and get my phone without falling flat on my face, I could use telekinesis and just be like, whoop, whoop, put it back on my bed. And if you're anything like me, and you're not necessarily clumsy, but you have the bad habit of putting things where they will fall, you know, for example, a binder. You think the binder is perfectly fine where it is, and then you just hear the right before the as it falls on the floor, and like the things break open and papers are flying everywhere, and you're like, well, crap. There goes the last 3 hours of work that I have to now sort back together into a coherent form. If you had telekinesis and you heard it falling, you could be like, no! Push it back, and it would be back. I guess it's just me. Another thing that I think would be kind of cool to have is wings, but that's more of like a supernatural feature, not so much a power. Being able to fly would be pretty cool. I am afraid of heights, which is so weird because, like, I don't like roller coasters because a lot of them are high, fast, and have loops, which makes me uncomfortable. Yet, I enjoy flying in a plane as long as I don't focus on the fact that if anything happens to the plane's parts, we're screwed. But if I don't focus on that, I love flying. I like looking out the window. I like watching the features kind of become this tiny town and then like clouds. You know, one of the coolest things was when I went to Montana and we were landing in Bozeman and looking out the window. Let me see if I can find the picture. But it was incredible. Like, the view was just amazing. And you can't always see stuff like that, you know, from... Hold on, that's Colorado. You can't always see stuff like that from the ground. You have to go up. So I think flying would be pretty cool. Because you get to see some pretty incredible sights. What just happened? I had it, and then somehow my camera turned on again. There we go. Look at that. That actually doesn't even do it justice. But it's gorgeous, and that was from a plane. Like, you can see the water tower down here. It's tiny. It's like the size of my pinky nail. You can only see that from a plane, or I guess if you're climbing a mountain, but again, heights. So, I mean, like, being able to fly should scare me, but, like, plane rides, just, I have a good time. Man, sorry, I ramble, like, quite a lot. Alright, magic powers. So, I think magic, kind of like Harry Potter, would be pretty cool, too. Because there's a lot of actually pretty useful spells, other than, you know, the forbidden dangerous ones. There's Accio, which brings things to you. There's Alohomora, which unlocks stuff. So, for example, if you are an adult, or at least a teen, with parents that like to spoil you, and have the money to do so, you have a car, and a license, and you can drive. I only had a car because I didn't have one till about summer last year, after I turned 20. Because we got a new car and they're like, here, you can drive this. Every other time I had to finagle for a car. Apparently that's my favorite word today is finagle. But say you lock your keys in the car, like I have, twice. 3 times. 3 times. If I had a spell like Alohomora, I could unlock my door and get my keys. And then leave, because, you know, I have my keys now, I can go home. Although it would be very... It would make locks pretty much unnecessary, because, you know, I wouldn't need a key for the front door, it could just be like Alohomora, and it would open the door. At least I'm pretty sure that's the unlocking spell. I would look so stupid right now if that wasn't the spell. Also, Lumos and Nox are pretty cool, especially if you have an Android phone. Okay, Google. Lumos. Hold on. Technical difficulties, guys. Lumos. Of course. Of course, it got technical difficulties, guys. Lumos.
These pictures should match.
Lumos. Ta-da! Nox. Of course it got technical difficulties, guys. Twice. That's annoying. But I always thought that was kind of cool. I don't know who showed me that, but I was just like, magic, even though it's not really magic. You know, but that'd be cool, being able to turn on and off lights, or having a light on with your wand, you know, Lumos and then Nox, and so much better than a flashlight. You don't have to worry about batteries. I probably sound like a total idiot gushing over magic right now, but anyway, a lot of my favorite stories have to do with magic. The Darkest Minds has a color-schemed magic. The Darkest Powers has supernatural creatures that have powers. There's a couple anime that have magic that I really like. Shows from my childhood have magic, like Sailor Moon. And Powerpuff Girls is more like superpowers than magic powers, but you get the point. You know, there's even magic in the books that I like to write. I had to take magic out of one of them because it got to the point where it was really cheesy and just didn't work. Like, for example, I was trying to do something similar to the Darkest Minds series, which has color-coded magic. So there's pyrokinesis red, mind control orange, electrokinesis yellow, lightning, intellect green, so like pretty much just heightened intelligence so people could hack and code and break ciphers and puzzles, photographic memories, stuff like that. Green, blue, telekinesis. So in my story, I wanted them to have powers that were categorized by color just because it's easier, but I also thought it'd be kind of cool because, I mean, like, a lot of, even the Grisha trilogy has different colors associated with different powers. But I wanted them to be associated also with kind of a personality trait that they would have that would go along with their power. So, for example, red was fire and also courage. Or, yeah, courage. I think that's what it was. Orange was, I want to say earth, because it's the only thing I'm missing from all of this, and I can't think of one, unless I made it telekinesis just because I had to have my favorite power in there. But I can't for the life of me remember what the trait was. There was air, which I can't remember the trait for, but yellow was air. Green was healing, compassion, empathy. So you could heal, but it also had to do with plant life. So the people who had, basically green was life. So you could heal as well as like be able to kind of like x-ray a person's body using your brain. So you could like see their bones, and like if something was wrong, you'd be able to see it, like even just maybe like a virus, like you could see the virus crawling around. And then you could work with animals and plants, and you'd be able to like heal animals, for example, or be able to kind of befriend them. Or plants, you know, you'd be able to grow things with just your power instead of having to wait for the seasons and then having to pick them, and yeah. You know, there was also purple. Oh, there's blue. Blue is intelligence, and that was water. And then there was purple, which was electrokinesis, and that was creativity. So the people, for example, with creativity were the inventors, and they needed the electricity with electrokinesis to be able to put all of it together and make it work. Because you can't, you know, Thomas Edison it with a kite and a key and like wait for lightning to strike. Doesn't work. So, you know, I just thought those were cool. I also have another story where there are mythological creatures that have magic powers. So there's like Phoenix and Pegasus and Thunderbirds and dragons. And then there's another one with a magic crystal. And it's the source of the world's power, and it has to separate and scatter all the pieces, and people have to collect the pieces and bring them together. And when you find those pieces, you get a magic power associated with them temporarily, just when you have the crystal. So I really enjoy magic. It just makes the world a much more interesting place. It's in a lot of the books I read. It's what I want to see in books, so I write them. I just really enjoy magic. I really wish that the magic we had in this world isn't something as mechanical as like movie magic, or as mind-boggling as like illusionary magic, like what magicians do on stage. So I just wish it was real. I think the world would be a much more interesting place. Granted, it would also be a much more dangerous place because, as Uncle Ben said, power is a great responsibility. And sometimes those who have power shouldn't have it, and those who want power shouldn't have it, and it's those who want power shouldn't have it, and those who have power don't want it. But I would like telekinesis. Because if anything, it can keep me from almost falling on my face when I'm picking my phone off the floor. The last one I did either wasn't as long as this one and I kept struggling to find things to talk about, or it was as long as this one, maybe even a little bit longer, and I've brought it down. Don't remember. But I am done rambling now. But I do have one question for you guys. What is it, if you could have one magic power, and I'm not talking Harry Potter, I'm talking like pyrokinesis, you know, the elements, or maybe something like telekinesis, you know, where you can control things. Like lift them, not so much mind control. What would you have? I'm curious. Mine would definitely be telekinesis. It would make my life so much easier. Because I drop things fall on the floor all the time, I'm lazy. Man, but can you imagine, like, telekinesis, like, lifting weights? Yeah, my mind is working out. It's late, I'm going to bed. Not really, but... Bye, everybody! I love you all. I will see you next week. Hopefully I will have my next book talk, which should be Roseblood by A.J. Howard, because that's what I'm currently reading, and I'm either halfway finished with it, or a little more than halfway finished with it. And after that, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be reading this book right here, which is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which I have been wanting to read forever, and I finally got it for Christmas. The Owl Crate theme for February is circus, because Caraval is coming out, and I'm pretty sure that's what we're getting in our box, and I'm so excited. So I think, and it also, the email that I got today about Owl Crate and Running Away with the Circus as the theme said that people who love Night Circus is going to love the box. So I need to jump on that Night Circus train, that way when I get the box I can be like, look at the things. I'll probably be like, look at the things anyway, but, you know, it'll be on a whole new level. But that's all I have to say to you guys today. I love you. It means so much that you watch my videos, and it means so much when you comment on them as well. But I will see you guys very soon. And by very soon, I mean next week, where I shall hopefully have a book talk as well as another Friday. I'm waiting for tags. I should probably research some tags, but tags have actually, it's only been 3 weeks since the start of the new year, but I have yet to really see any tags, bookish or otherwise. So maybe we'll have some more later in the year. But I love you guys. I will see you all next week. All the kisses. I will see you guys. Happy reading.